Okay, it is 9:29 a.m. April the 27th, 21, and it's just gonna be someone like yesterday is gonna be watching number 5. I'm gonna call them. I don't know how long I'll do this for, or if I'll always do it, but number 5, I'll call stocks that are up several days in a row. Nice green candles that has its drop in the morning. I'll call those a number 5, but if it's just a regular stock that still isn't really up a lot of days, I'll just call it a morning panic. They're all morning panics, but number 5s are better because it's a stock that has been running very nicely over many days. It's just going to be these to watch. I will look at KYNC a little bit. I just don't like, the volume. It doesn't trade with much volume, but if maybe it does some kind of a confirmed breakout, maybe it does a nice spike and drops towards a previous level of support, that might be interesting. But right now I'll just be looking for morning panics. Alright, it's 9:41 a.m. I did do one trade with AITX, but let me go over this one that I missed, and this is going to be very brief because there still might be some kind of a setup right now. But RTEC at 9:33, so it was this green candle right here. I tried buying with a limit at 75. I wasn't executed for it. I did a nice spike to 85, so that wasn't too bad. I just didn't get my order filled. This one was somewhat ideal because 70 is just that round number, a good level of support. So that was the level I would have thought of risking off of if it wanted to drop a little lower than my initial potential buy at 75, but that didn't happen. Had a quick spike, but this isn't too ideal because the stock was really only up like 2 days, so it's not really the best to consider the setup. So that's why it's called a morning panic. Now number 5, and then my buy was with AITX. This one went through just a small position. Let me see how small it was. It was a $400-ish position, and I bought, let's go to the chart first. I bought right here. It was at 9:36, so it was this candle right here, the green candle, and I bought. Pretty nice. It was a buy right here at the wick right there, so that was a pretty nice buy. And I've seen these number 5 setups so many times, and I said, well, hey, how about this? I'm going to actually hold a little longer. But I got out because AITX is known to be a choppy stock. I really didn't like the price action, and it turns out it was in my favor this time. I just remember this stock being very choppy in terms of number 5 setups and not being very clean, so that's when I considered a sell, and I sold right at 9:38. So it was this green candle right here at 10:34, so it was about right here. Not the best sell, but considering the situation, what happened the next candle, I did pretty well there. Probably not going to look at AITX for the rest of today unless it does something amazing. GGII, nothing I want to trade. GVSI, nothing I want to trade. LTNC did a baby drop, didn't focus on that. RETC did do that drop that I was interested in. Again, I just didn't get my order executed. And WTII, I was looking at this one too. It seems like it's starting to work out now, but it's not very clean. It is a bit dirty. Not as bad as AITX and not as bad as RETC, but these have been a bit choppy. RETC can still try to do an uptrend if it holds this 75 level. They can totally do that, but the thing is, it's only been up like 2 other days, or just one day it was really up a lot, so that might be a problem where it's just a pump and dump, that like a very quick pump and dump. So not calling it a pump and dump, but I'm just saying it might only spike just a little bit and fall again. It's not a multi-day runner, so that's the mindset I have right now. KYNC, I just wasn't really there for it, but I did consider it for like some kind of a confirmed breakout. Would have been kind of sketchy buying this if it as it went red on the day, but it's been up a lot of days in a row, so it wouldn't have been that bad. But it did have this drop right here, didn't hold this support level, but it did drop here to this previous support level at, I'm just gonna call it 10, right? It did do that drop there, but this is a choppy low volume mess. It did it a few times, did do a spike to you know, 11 and 2, so that would have been a 10% move. But yeah, I just would have liked it if the stock had more volume. Other than that, it was a pretty good setup. In theory, it seems a bit hard for me to have gotten into it, but it did a setup. That's all I got at the moment. I'll be looking for any potential morning panics, any follow-up morning panics or something like that. I'll be looking at, you know, anything that is up a lot on the day too, but right now I have no setups that I'm truly interested in. Alright, it's 9:50 a.m. PJET is going to be a stock I'm going to watch, so a little speculative, so I'm going to trade a small position size if I trade it. Maybe like a $200, $300, $250 position, I don't know, something tiny, right? So I'm not going to buy it right now, but the idea is, in theory, if it does its first dip over VWAP, under VWAP, so if it drops under VWAP and then maybe starts showing some kind of reversal, I'll be interested in that. I've seen that a lot, but I think the stock has to be up on a day for me to consider a setup like that. It doesn't count if it's a morning panic, because it'll be obviously below it, but if it's, you know, uptrending and then it gets below it for the first time, it usually comes back from that level. It's almost like this right here, but if this wasn't a morning panic, if it was already, you know, trading previously, something like that. That's the idea. WTII, I could even consider a buy here and just risk off the same level of 35 for some kind of a slow number 5 setup. But again, this isn't a really number 5, this is a morning panic, so it would be the first high or low off the morning panic. Which is not too ideal because the stock is, you know, did not run a lot of days, so nothing right now, but I'll keep looking. Okay, it's 10:04 a.m. Yes, PJET worked, but I did not trade it because this thing was just a bit choppy, and I would have liked it if it dropped lower. Volume was kind of fading. I typically imagine a lot of volume trading when it dips below a VWAP level, because a lot of people are dumping their shares, panicking, and some people are buying their shares knowing what's up. So this wasn't really the case, at least to me, but I'll keep making adjustments. It worked out. I had my limit at 90. At no point was I really too interested in buying, because, you know, it kind of dipped there and then it did this, right? So it kind of came back and then it closed there and then it dipped there and then big green candle above the level. Then it was just, looking now, it makes a bit more sense, but at the time it just doesn't seem like what I recognized, at least in terms of what I think I remember is, you know, a quick dip, first dip under VWAP, dip buy. Of course it worked here, so, you know, now that we have a big green candle, it looks very simple. Oh, of course, but didn't seem that simple at the moment. But hey, this is a nice 10% move, so this is something I'll take a screenshot of, and I will just keep learning from it, you know, looking back at screenshots of previous setups that did stuff like this. At least that's the idea. I think I'll just call it the first VWAP dip buy strategy or something. It worked out. And the other stock I was looking at, I think it was GGII, inverse head and shoulders, but I'm not going to trade it. I would have liked it if this, instead of going down, would have continued to this level right here at the neckline to prove that it can do it, and it can still do it. It's just not as likely, especially with the shoulders, you know. So downtrending inverse hand shoulder, so it's nothing I want to trade. I'll keep looking for setups, but there's nothing just absolutely clear in my mind that I want to trade right now. Alright, it's 10:30 a.m. I just want to do a quick recap just to go over everything at the moment. PJET, very nice. I considered the inverse head and shoulders, but it didn't drop that much. But that might have been a good thing, because, you know, it meant that it was holding its highs, holding the VWAP, you know, and eventually did this nice thing again. You know, could just be random consolidation, but when you get the big volume and a big green candle, everything just seems a lot more clear. I have to be more reactive to that. WTII eventually did this nice uptrend. That's pretty cool. Nothing much I can say about it. I guess it was just putting up, you know, lower highs and eventually did it. I wouldn't have been too interested in this kind of setup on this stock just because it's only been up a few days. And this have been, you know, another stock that would have been more interesting, like maybe AITX if it did something like that. AITX was a bit crazy and a bit choppy, but if it had like this run up here, that would be more impressive if that was there on WTII. Nothing here I want to trade with LTNC. GGII just keeps downtrending. Did I confuse GGII with GVSI? No, I don't think so. Anyway, yeah, just this one is just trailing below the VWAP. There's nothing I want to trade right here. Oh, I guess we're switching places. This is lower lows, nothing I want to trade under VWAP. At some point might try to hold and bounce again, but it's not, you know, it could just continue a downtrend. It has a lot of room to downtrend, so not really ideal for something like that. And RTEC is not doing anything, it's just down on the day. So yeah, very nice move with PJET. Nothing I really want to trade. I guess just to go over a few more. HMBL, nothing I want to trade with this either. It could try to reverse if it tries to put up a higher low from these 2 days right there. That wouldn't be too bad, but it'd have to go green on the day. Somebody mentioned a setup, this setup, but I want to be interested in it. It's a bit of a slow setup. It could totally work out though. Just not something I'm too interested in. And KYNC is down 14% on the day. Yeah, if it had more volume, that would be much better, but you know, it's just bouncing back and forth from that, somewhat above that previous breakout level, or if you want to call it off of here, it's right at the level. It's just not really ideal. It's provided a bit of a bounce play setup, but it's just choppy, low volume, unfortunately. I'll keep looking for more setups, but I don't see anything that I want right now. Alright, it is 11:08 a.m. I think I'm just going to call it off. The only stock that I would really be interested in, maybe like for a power hour spike towards the close or something, would possibly be PJET if it continues to hold. I don't like how it's been wicky before, as well as I think this is one of them, SH and then SOMA, I think. No, let me see, SHOM. Maybe these as well, maybe not this one, but if they're up on the day considerably, this one has a peak right here at 125, so PJET is the one I'm most interested in for maybe like a hold, you know, and sell into the market close. If it continues to hold its highs very nicely, that could be a potential. Otherwise, it's gonna be no more trades, and I'm gonna call it off. GGII, it did do an inverse head and shoulders here. It got 15 to 16. Is really not that bad. The issue is that it didn't spike that much right here. The shoulder wasn't that nice. If this shoulder would have spiked maybe towards the 16 level, the shoulders held itself together, which wasn't too bad. This one worked. It wasn't as ideal. It was very over, you know, like extended, very like low from the VWAP level, so that's pretty good. GVSI finally broke out of this VWAP downtrend. This is just kind of unpredictable if you ask me. Nothing I really would want to trade. Sure, you might see like some uptrending here, but you know, until you see it play out like here, it really could just be noise. But I'll continue to get better at stuff like that. I don't regret missing this one. This one wasn't really much of a good setup. WTII, I tried, I believe, buying this morning panic. No, it was RTEC. Huh. Yeah, WTI just wasn't a setup, but I guess it did do a drop. It just wasn't too ideal because it hasn't been up very nicely. AITX, I did buy this. I got in and out in this range right here. Had a nice buy at, let me see. Yeah, 17. Right here. It wasn't too bad. I bought the wick, first green candle right there. And then I sold, you know, at 1034, 938. One candle before this downtrend, and I tried holding this a bit longer, but it was struggling to break past this 104 level, so I sold into, you know, the spike while it was still there because it was choppy. AITX is known to be choppy, wasn't breaking past this level. I actually did pretty well with this trade, so yeah, we're gonna call it off right here. Again, no setups unless PJET or the other two S tickers do some kind of a nice uptrend towards the market close. If that happens, that'll happen. Otherwise, I think that's all I got for today. I'd say it's a pretty good trading day. I feel like it went much better than yesterday.